lifestyle, the way we live, what we eat, and what we drink, how much we work, exercise, relax, the way we think, the way we relate to others. We've come to learn that all these factors do affect our health. The StepFast Lifestyle Series is designed to make it clear not only what lifestyle practices would be advantageous, but also how to incorporate the nutritional program and other lifestyle elements that will improve your overall well-being, no matter what your current health status might be. God may have a different plan for every person, but His goal for each of us is the same. He wants us to be healthy and happy with the promise of a future with others and with Him. Heredity and misfortune challenge each of us, but improved health and happiness is God's will for each of us. Powerful, practical information is what will make a difference in your life. You'll be hearing the latest scientific health facts from leading professionals in prevention and wellness, and receive simple, practical instruction from experienced health educators in the areas of exercise, nutrition, natural remedies, stress management, and spiritual discipline. Step by step, you'll be able to adopt a healthy, active lifestyle and enjoy renewed health and vigor. Now, many will see diseases such as diabetes and heart disease improve and even reverse through lifestyle change. The StepFast Lifestyle Series is designed to work in harmony with your local physician. Make sure and inform your doctor as you make dietary changes or alter your level of activity. We're so glad that you've joined us. Follow the simple StepFast recommendations, and through this 12-part series, you will learn how to step fast. Listen now as Dr. Zeno Charles-Marcel provides more insights into the relationship between lifestyle and disease.
It may mean different things to different people. Your life, how you live it, lifestyle. It encompasses every aspect of your life, but especially those components that you yourself have input into and that you can really and truly change. These are the things that you can significantly influence, and lifestyle deals not just with part of you, it deals with the whole you, the entire person. So then, what does it take to have a whole, entire person? Anthropologists tell us that there are at least 5 dimensions to being wholly human. We are physical beings. Now, we all know that. But we're not just physical, we're also mental, thinking people. We have an emotional or feeling dimension to us, and we are social, relating beings. That's how God made us. But we also have a spiritual dimension, and this is the transcendent part of us that allows us to relate to God and to relate outside of ourselves. Now, when we have problems or challenges, these don't reside or affect only one of these dimensions. No, not at all. Problems affect the whole person. In the same way, health is not just physical or mental health. No, health is the well-being of the whole person, the whole you and the whole me. Let us consider some of the common problems that we face as human beings. You can see how they affect the whole person. For instance, stress affects most of us. There are many millions of people who are succumbing to illness because of stress. But does stress reside in just one dimension of our humanness? How about financial problems or financial challenges? How about selfishness? How about sexual problems? Do these reside only in one place? Is it just a physical problem? What about a bad temper or anger or hostility, lack of forgiveness? These reside not just in a part of us, they actually permeate our entire being. Some of us may have abusive tendencies, or we might be victims of abuse. Does that mean that it's only circumscribed in one little place? Even social injustice affects our entire being. These are all real problems, and they affect the whole person, and so does ill health or sickness. It affects the whole of us. Lifestyle then, our lifestyle, is a whole person issue. Now, certain lifestyle habits help us to deal with health issues better, so that we can live better, and that we can live longer. Belloc and Breslow, many years ago, in California, studied over 7,000 people in Alameda County. And what they found was that there were some simple habits that were used by individuals who had a longer and better life. Here they are, 7 beautiful things. 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that was number 1. No between meal snacks, regular breakfast, maintaining a proper body weight, regular physical activity or exercise. They said moderate, but we say preferably no alcohol intake. And of course, no tobacco products and no smoking. Now, you may be concerned that despite all of these healthy things that we can do, that we may have genetic components that may predispose us to a particular illness. That too is a reality, so what can you do? Well, one thing that you might try is to choose your parents wisely. No, seriously. What we understand is that while genetics plays a significant role, in most cases, it is a much better predictor how we live and how we will die relating to our lifestyle. You see, genetics loads the gun, but how we live, how you live, your lifestyle is what pulls the trigger. The typical components of lifestyle that we use include what we eat and whether or not we exercise. And these are important, yes. But while diet is very important, it's not just what you're eating, but also what's eating you that affects your health. Doctors are now being trained to deal with that inner part of people, to deal with things such as anger, aggression, and hostility, since we know that these things affect atherosclerosis and the rate at which people get heart attacks. But you know, it's not just hardening of the arteries that we have to deal with, but we have to deal with hardening of the heart. During the StepFast Lifestyle series, we will introduce you and encourage you to the things about healthy lifestyle that can affect and make a big difference for you. But during this time, we also anticipate that we will be introducing you to the great physician, the one who is able to soften our hearts and give you an abundant life.
Let's face it, we all know the bad news about habits. First of all, we're comfortable with the lifestyle habits that we've embraced, even if they're not the best for us. But second, habits are hard to change. But do you know the good news about habits? God has created us with the ability to choose what we will enjoy. Think about it for a minute. If you can enjoy any set of habits, why don't you just choose the very best ones? You say, but Dr. DeRose, I've tried to change my habits before. It wasn't easy at all. I didn't develop new habits. There are a number of things that we do every day to ourselves that undermine our ability to develop new habits. Let me tell you about a few of them. The first one is rewarding ourselves. Let me give you an example. Let's say that God is convicting you to make a certain change in your lifestyle. Perhaps it's to get rid of the potato chips. Sorry if I'm stepping on any toes. You say, look it's not helping my weight, it's not helping my diabetes, it's not helping my heart disease to eat all these potato chips. And you recognize this is not just something you can have a few of. When you eat potato chips, you overeat. And so God is convicting you that you need to make a clean break with the potato chips. And if you can't relate to that, maybe it's the chocolate or the ice cream or whatever it is. God convicts you to make a clean break, and instead, you cut down. You say, well, after all, I can have a little bit. What happens to the nicotine addict who just goes back to one cigarette? Or the alcoholic who just goes back to one drink? What the point I'm getting at is that many times God is wanting to give us the power to make clean breaks with certain habits in our lives. Now, I'm not saying that everything in life has to be an all or none decision. For some people, They can control their consumption of potato chips or chocolate or ice cream, and God doesn't convict them at this point in time they need to make a clean break. But as you go through the StepFast series, I want to encourage you to pray about what God is asking you to do. Do you realize that there is power in commandments? Think about it for a minute. When God spoke on Sinai, He didn't give 10 suggestions. He gave commandments. Commandments, things that are all or none. Because with the commandment comes power. First, power on a mental level, because we know where the lines are drawn. But second of all, power on a spiritual level, because when God asks us to change, He gives us the power to make the change. So don't shy away from making clean breaks, from making big decisions that you may have even entered into this StepFast series thinking, oh no, I'm not going to go this far. If God convicts you, let Him convict you and let Him give you the power to make those changes. Let me tell you, though, another secret. Another secret when it comes to health behavior change that we often neglect. And that's the area of social support. Medical researchers, even apart from any spiritual discussions, have recognized that social support is a powerful thing. A powerful thing when it comes to changing lifestyle habits. God Himself has instituted the church, has instituted community, so that we can support one another. Take advantage of that powerful resource. Look around you. Look at who is attending the StepFast meetings. These are some of the most powerful resources that you have. Lastly, realize that God has infinite resources for you. It's not just in identifying what things you need to walk away from. It's not just realizing the power in commandments. It's not just taking advantage of social support. It's also recognizing that God loves you just the way you are, but He wants to give you a vision for something even better. He wants to truly give you an abundant life. And if you're not experiencing that today, the StepFast series wants to open up those windows, show you ways that God may want to have you change your lifestyle. Because the good news is, with God's help, you can develop new habits and enjoy them. If I could put it in a pill, I don't have any doubt it would be the best-selling drug in the world. Exercise. You know, its benefits are even better than I think you've even expected. Just think about it for a minute. We've all heard that exercise can help us live longer. The statistics are out there, there's no question about it. Dramatically decreasing your mortality rate. Not just from things like heart disease, but from all causes of mortality. You can expand your length of life. You can increase the likelihood that you'll live long by regular physical exercise. But that's really just the tip of the iceberg. Exercise has been associated with so many benefits, we can't even talk about them all today. But let's just talk about a few of the things that are really getting attention in the medical research literature. Exercise and cancer, how about that? Whether it's colon cancer, breast cancer, or other female cancers, there's evidence that regular physical exercise can decrease your risk of these feared killers. How about heart disease? Oh yeah, we've all heard these statistics about exercise and heart disease. But did you realize that by regular physical exercise, you can decrease your risk of dying from a heart attack 8-fold? Yes, an 8 times difference in risk between those that exercise regularly and significantly and those who do little or nothing. But it's not just killer diseases like cancer and heart disease that exercise has a role in preventing or reducing your risk of. How about diabetes, high blood pressure? Yes, both of these conditions, whether it's problems with your blood sugar or a gradually rising blood pressure, each of these conditions is helped by exercise. Although all of these things can contribute to a shortened lifespan, they can also rob us of quality of living. Whether it's diabetes with its complications of vision loss, kidney problems, heart disease, nerve problems, whether it's high blood pressure and its linkage with not only heart disease but with stroke and with kidney problems itself. But when it comes to quality of life, exercise has even more benefits. Are you aware that exercise has been demonstrated to improve mental functioning? And we're not just talking about mental functioning when we're in the prime of our life. Even when we may be feeling like we're somewhat over the hill, exercise still has benefits. Once we get into our 80s and beyond, exercise can improve our mental performance, our memory. It can help us decrease the risk of depression. I mean, think about that for a minute. Have you looked lately at the millions of dollars that are spent on antidepressants? Exercise has potent mood-elevating effects. How about anxiety? Are worries or other troubles bothering you? Exercise is just what the doctor ordered. At least I'd hope. Because exercise can decrease stress levels and anxiety. When we're speaking about quality of life, though, we've got to talk about some other things. Many of you are dealing with challenges when it comes to your weight. The average American is gaining weight, and it's distressing. At least distressing to those that find they've got to change their wardrobe every few years. If you're one of those people, let me tell you some things about exercise and weight control. Now, before we get too much into this, I've got to tell you something very important. And that is what the research indicates is something very exciting about exercise in relation to weight. We all know that carrying extra pounds tends to increase the risk of a number of physical diseases. Whether it's certain types of cancer or heart disease, high blood pressure or diabetes, all of these conditions are linked with excessive weight. But the research is now showing us that many of the risks of weight gain can be reduced or eliminated if a person becomes fit. In fact, what the research is showing us is that if you had to choose between being thin and unfit, or being fit and overweight, you'd actually be better off to choose to be heavier and fit, rather than look trim and be unfit. What the research is showing us is that exercise has such powerful benefits, is that it can actually undo some of the damage that excessive weight causes. In fact, in one study, what they found is individuals who were thin yet unfit had something like 5 times the risk of premature death or death at any age compared to those who were significantly heavier but were exercising regularly and demonstrated a higher level of fitness. Having said that, I still need to let you know that regular physical exercise tends to help people reduce weight. And if you've lost weight, it helps you to maintain that weight reduction. Regular physical exercise is a winner when it comes to weight management. And if you don't have a weight problem, your odds of having a weight problem are decreased 3-fold by adopting a regular program of physical exercise. Exercise has so many benefits going for it, we've only scratched the surface. I haven't told you about some of the research that suggests that exercise may actually help to preserve your hearing, or how exercise can have roles in strengthening your bones. We've heard that one, haven't we, with all the interest in osteoporosis? Exercise also can help pain control, whether it's a woman's menstrual pain that comes on monthly, or whether it's the pain from arthritis. Yes, exercise can actually help with arthritis pain. The list is so extensive, you'd almost say, well, do we really need to convince anyone that they need to exercise? Despite all the evidence that's out there, and despite the fact that my patients continue to tell me that they know they should exercise, only about 20% of Americans exercise on a regular basis. It seems that many of my patients at the Lifestyle Center of America have been kept from exercise before coming to our center by certain myths. Maybe some of these myths fit into the picture for you. How about this one? I don't have time to exercise. Actually, the research shows that even 3 short minutes of exercise can improve your immune system. Come on, you've got to have 3 minutes for exercise. Now, granted, you want to do more exercise than that to get all the benefits that we've been talking about. But only 3 minutes will do you some good. Why don't you do something? What about this myth? I can't afford exercise equipment or a health club membership. Actually, there's a growing body of medical research that suggests that for many people, lifestyle activities may be the best form of exercise possible. This means simply working more exercise into your day, walking a little more, doing some gardening, doing more things out of doors around the house. These things can all pay dividends, and they do count for exercise. How about this one? I don't think it's safe for me to exercise. I've already told you that the research shows that people who exercise don't just keel over and drop dead in epidemic proportions. Really, they tend to live longer. But if you have a known heart problem, sure, you should have a medical evaluation before you embark on a new exercise program. There's other people that are at higher risk of heart problems or other adverse consequences of exercise. For example, if you have arthritic problems, talk with your doctor to make sure you don't pick an exercise program that would damage your joints instead of helping them. And if you've got heart disease risk factors, especially a couple of them, like high cholesterol or diabetes, or high blood pressure, for example, or a family history of heart disease, all of these things should cause you to think twice about getting too enthusiastic about a real vigorous program. But after all, you didn't need a prescription to go to the mall, did you, and walk around? And unless you're having chest pain when you're doing activities of daily living like that, then I would say small amounts of moderate exercise probably can work very well for you. Yes, there's a lot of myths out there, but most of these things only keep us from a good program. The last one, of course, is the old no pain, no gain myth. You know, we used to think in athletic circles that if you didn't really knock yourself out, you weren't doing yourself any good. But interval training exercise, intermittent exercise, breaking up periods of activity with rest, pays some profound dividends. We've found at the Lifestyle Center of America that this approach to exercise actually helps people lose more weight and lose more body fat. The good news about exercise is it's got more good things going for it than you probably ever imagined. And those things that have kept you from exercise, they really shouldn't be doing it in most cases. Why don't you make a commitment today to a regular program of exercise? Even if it's just starting out very small, you can do something that can make a profound difference for your health, for your life, for your mental clarity, and even for your spirituality.
Now for some practical advice about exercise. God intended for us to be active. He created us with a miraculous physical body. His design was for us to be primed and ready to move. For example, when we start to exercise, our blood is redirected to the areas that we need. 80% of our blood flow goes to the working muscles. Our heart and brain still need the same amount. How do they get it? By increased heart rate. A simple design. My physiology teacher used to say, muscles are made for movement. Use them. But how? What kinds of activity are important to us? Choosing the right activity that will benefit you the most is very important. We categorize exercise into 3 main categories. Leisure time activities such as strolling in the park, sport activities such as a game of baseball, or conditioning activities that are circulatory or aerobic. We sometimes refer to them as endurance or cardiovascular. Why are they important? God's masterful design to circulate our life-giving blood to our whole body. The common recommendations for exercise are walking, and that is a common mode of transportation that we use, and it's convenient. All we need is a pair of shoes, and we can get outdoors. But is it the most prudent advice? Are we doing it? Studies are now showing that 70% of the population is inactive. recommendation to go be active hasn't worked. Maybe the remedy is to program our exercise or carefully plan it. In this StepFast video series, I will be telling you how to evaluate your condition, how to set your exercise level, how to get set for an exercise program and set up your routine, or how to monitor your exercise activity. Physical training is not haphazard, but is designed to produce purposeful results. Exercise specialists, such as the American College of Sports Medicine, recommend the FIT factors for health and fitness. F stands for frequency, I stands for intensity, T stands for the time that we spend exercising, the second T stands for the type of activity, and E stands for enjoyment. An exercise program for you is the one that you will do. If we carefully plan your exercise, we will get results. In the next StepFast segment, I will be talking to you about the exercise technique that makes exercise available to everyone, regardless of their physical condition. The technique is called IT, intermittent training. It's where we mix exercise right with rest. Sound interesting? See you the next time.
At the end of each StepFast segment, I'll be giving you simple assignments that will help you make gradual changes. By the end of the series, you'll be amazed at how easy it is to adopt a truly healthy lifestyle. Now for your first assignments. Number 1, review the FIT acronym, F-I-T-T-E, and remember what it takes to stay fit and healthy. Take a 20-minute walk in the fresh air and sunshine. Secondly, pray that God will give you wisdom and courage to make simple, practical changes that will be a blessing to your health so that you can truly step fast.
To order your personal copy of the 12-volume StepFast Lifestyle Series and the StepFast Resource Guide on CD-ROM, contact the Adventist Book Center at 800-765-6955 or the Potomac Conference of Seventh-day Adventists at 800-732-1844 or 540-886-0771 or visit us online at www.stepfast.org.